Tracy Sterling didn't just build a billion-dollar empire on aggressive trades and ruthless takeovers. He built it on ego, on the belief that dominance meant volume, that power meant humiliation, and that silence was the same thing as surrender. He treated his wife, Sarah, like a decorative object he had plucked from obscurity, a prop, a rescued artifact from poverty that he could parade in front of his elite circle and mock for sport. He mistook her restraint for weakness, forgetting a rule that governs the highest levels of society. Real authority rarely announces itself. That illusion shattered during a single dinner party, one night, one table, one moment when the man who believed he held the leash discovered, too late, that he had been wearing the collar all along. This is the story of how the woman he ridiculed wasn't powerless at all. She was patient. The penthouse at 432 Park Avenue was always cold, not the pleasant chill of luxury air conditioning, but a sterile, lifeless cold that clung to the walls no matter the season. Sarah had learned to live inside that chill during the 3 years she'd been married to Tracy Sterling. Tracy was a man who devoured worlds. At 42, he was the public face of Sterling & Co., a hedge fund infamous for gutting tech startups and mining pharmaceutical patents until nothing valuable remained. He'd made billions twice over, and he wore success like armor. His hair was slicked back with expensive pomade that smelled of sandalwood and entitlement. His Savile Row suits were tailored to conceal the first hints of middle-aged softness. And his smile, sharp and rehearsed, never quite reached his eyes. Sarah stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling mirror in the master suite, adjusting the thin straps of her dress. It was a simple piece. Vintage, a navy silk slip from the 1990s, understated, elegant, honest. Take it off. Tracy's voice cut through the room like a blade. Sarah froze, meeting his reflection in the mirror. He was fastening his cufflinks, platinum skulls with diamond eyes. "It's vintage," she said quietly. "It was my grandmother's." Tracy scoffed and stepped closer. He didn't touch her with affection. He inspected her like merchandise, flicking the strap with disdain. "It looks cheap," he said. "We're hosting Omni Group's board tonight. These people own islands. They don't want to see my wife dressed in hand-me-downs from a dead woman. My grandmother, I don't care." He snapped, already turning away to pour himself a glass of Macallan 25. "Put on the red Versace, the one with the slit, and the diamonds. You look like a librarian." Sarah swallowed. This was the routine, the eraser. When Tracy had met her, she worked in a small antique bookshop in Notting Hill. He'd been drawn to her quiet beauty, her lack of performance. He courted her with intensity that felt like devotion. The moment the ring slid onto her finger, the transformation began. He didn't want a partner. He wanted an accessory. "I prefer this dress," Sarah said, her voice steady. "It makes me feel like myself." Tracy spun around, anger flashing across his face. "Yourself?" He laughed harshly. "You were a shop girl dusting paper when I found you. You were nobody. I gave you an identity. I gave you this life." He narrowed his eyes. "Tonight you are Mrs. Tracy Sterling. Go change, or don't come out at all." Something shifted inside Sarah. Tonight's guest list included a name Tracy had chased for 5 years. Preston Van Doren, old New York money, the kind Tracy couldn't buy access to. Desperation made him cruel. Sarah walked into the walk-in closet, larger than her childhood apartment, and lifted the red Versace from its hanger. Flashy, aggressive, everything she wasn't. "One more night," she whispered, "just one." She dressed, applied the makeup he liked, and clasped the diamond choker around her neck. It felt heavy, like a collar. Leonard's private dining room was built for predators. Mahogany walls, low lighting, a table set for 12. Sarah sat opposite Tracy, silent and composed. Tracy performed. He boomed about markets, mocked ethics, glorified predation. And then, inevitably, he turned her into a weapon against herself. "Tell them where I found you," He laughed, she did, and he destroyed a story for sport. Laughter followed, cruel laughter, until Sarah spoke. Not loudly, clearly. She corrected him, exposed the lie, and the room changed. Then Preston spoke. Then the doors opened, and Power walked in. Arthur Kensington, Sarah's father. The silence was absolute. Tracy laughed, because narcissists laugh when reality cracks, until Arthur spoke about debt, about ownership, about control, and Tracy learned the truth. His empire was rented. Arthur owned the paper beneath his feet. The penthouse, the jet, the fund. I wanted to see how you treated her, Arthur said calmly. You failed. The divorce was not loud, it was surgical. Clause 14b, gross indignity, 50% retroactive. Tracy lost everything while dinner was still being served. By midnight, he was no longer host. By morning, he was no longer powerful. 6 months later, Sarah sat by a fireplace in London, wearing a sweater instead of armor. She was light. Tracy Sterling now sold used cars in New Jersey under a different name. One afternoon, he saw her face on a billboard. She was radiant, unreachable. He looked at his grease-stained hands and understood something far too late. He wanted a mirror. He got the truth. Money can buy silence, it can buy space, it can buy fear, but it cannot buy class, and it never survives contempt. Never underestimate the quiet ones.